Okay guys, oil change day to day, so the bike's virtually done 1500 kilometres. Did one at 500 k's, and I decided I'd do another oil and filter change at 1000 before I start getting out there and doing some of these Ride and Cook series videos. So it's done virtually 1500 k's. I've got the oil in stock. This time I'll be using Penrite semi-synthetic. I like that oil because it only cost me 50 bucks, and I used it in the Interceptor. I used it in all C5s, and I think if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for this. So I'm going to go for that oil drop, and with the filter in the side of it too. Got those in stock. Had to get them off a bloke, and I think they're pretty hard to get at the moment. Had to pay about $50 for a pair, but that's the way it goes. And you know, I expect the last time I did this at 500 k's, when I dropped it in the filter out, the oil was a bit on the dark side. Like I said, this has been here at 1000 now, and it's going to be dropped again. And more importantly, all I did find in the first drop is the oil was black. The oil I found out in the first drop of oil, it was black, but there was no residue in there like metal filings, any swarf, anything like that, what you expect usually find in a bike like a C5. So the example is really clean bikes inside. What was on the first drop, very similar to what you'd find in Interceptor, so they're really nicely put together. So I'm going to get there, drop the oil out, get this under control, because tomorrow I'm going out on a fairly long ride and I want it under control there. I'm going to have to give it a bit of a wipe under there first before I get in there and drop the oil. Okay guys, before we start, we've got to get two 8mm nuts up underneath it there, and there's a filter screen up behind it. As you can see, with 1000 k's on this oil, it's come out pretty dark, but I don't think much darker than when I ran it at 500 k's, so I think that size is good. We'll have a look later on, just see how clean it is when I drain it into another tray, but at the moment, that's what we're getting. And I've just come back from a 35k run too, so the oil's a bit hot. I've only had it sitting there for about 15 minutes. So now I'm on 1500 k's. I don't think I'll do the next one till either I might run it to 4000 k's now and then drop it at 2.5. Okay, next up we'll remove the little filter screen. Okay, there's a look at the filter screen. Pretty clean really. So that, like I said, that's done 1000 kilometres since I did it last time, and when you look at that, it only needs a bit of wipe over and you can go straight back in the bottom cover on. Anyway guys, you'll have to excuse the dirt on this bike because waste of time cleaning it up, because I'll probably be doing 50-60 kilometres of dirt runs tomorrow when I'm out there fixing up, getting a couple of drone shots with this upcoming clip, and waste of time doing it. I'll just oil the chain, but what I was going to say, I'll have to hang on to this and get under it. Best idea with these ones here, just tighten them as far as you can, finger tight on your bottom drain, and then use a very small ratchet like a 3/8 with the 8mm on it, and just hold the ratchet maybe like so, up there where you can't get the leverage on the back, and you'll only nip it up just probably when you get up there. You'll go back and forth and just nip it up a fraction of a turn, but don't put pressure on them, because these have been known on the old C5s to snap quite regularly. If you put them in too tight and snap them, then you've got a lot of problems to get out. So keep that in mind, go easy. Now while we're here, see over here, this could be a second drain plug for one of these, and I'm not sure at the moment, and it's just a bit risky for my case taking it out because I really don't know. but it could be the second drain plug. Like on a C5 it's got 3. So you got one usually over there, one in the middle, one up the front about here. And this could be a drain for that, but it's a bit risky. I'm doing it on the off chance to, I was thinking about it, but I thought, better not touch it. But it could be a secondary drain plug for the right side casing. But something to think about. Anyway, I've got to get here, put a little bit of pressure in and give them a nip up. That part will be done, then we get on to the oil filter. Now guys, when I get the oil filter, what I usually do is run a bit of aluminium foil towards the funnel so this doesn't spill down on the exhaust or framework if I can avoid it. Okay, let's get under this. In the old C5 days we used to have, I think it was just 8mm nuts on there, and they're the ones you have to be careful tightening them up because they too had a habit of snapping off. So this way, you know, Enfield's up their game a bit. A lot better quality screws and that with them now. Even the casing on the side casing here looks a lot more polished than the other one. Was a little bit on the chatty side, but it certainly is hot. And if you looked at the old C5s, you'd be hanging onto this and you'd have to hold pressure there because it'd spring off at a fair pace, and with the off chance of breaking a lug here. And that's been done a heap of times over the years on different bikes, but not mine, but other people. But these ones here, look, your filter just sits there really nice. So there's no drama there. Not a great deal of residue come out of it either. So look at this spring loading here in the thing, and there's a really strong spring too. So I've got my new one here to go on. Genuine, of course. But what I'm going to do before I put it in, won't hurt like it is at the moment. So there's a newie. I'm going to get a container, and I'm going to pre-soak this for a few minutes before I whip it straight in there and button her up. Now naturally everyone's got their opinion on oil, just like they've got everything else. So the one I prefer for this is Penrite HPR Gas 10. So it's worked well in all the other bikes and it will work well in here. I'd rather give it a bit of a soak in there for a few minutes, which I'll probably turn the camera off while it does it, and that way when you look at it, when the motor kicks over the first time, it doesn't have to pump oil into this and do it, but I'll just rig around there for a couple of minutes while it's doing that. Then I can pull the other one out and whip this one straight in. I've only ever run one lot of full synthetic in a bike. I think I had that in the interceptor. I used that silk balloon. Cost me $150 in Australia to buy it, including freight to get up to where I live. I thought it was just a total waste of $150, and for these sort of bikes there's nothing special about these. These don't need really good quality oil. It's not going to help them much. If you give them regular oil changes, I think that's good enough. And this one here, I think it cost me $50. It'll get 2 changes and a bit of change. So when you look at it that way, I think good enough. You know, some of the purists might like full synthetic, but even though I like wasting money, I don't like wasting that much money on a bit of oil, because my thoughts on these bikes, they're not a big single, but they're a medium single, 350cc, or when I had the 500ccs. Oil's cheap, cheaper than what the bike is. So, you know, when they get it there and you get these ones that tell you, oh, don't worry about changing the oil at 1500 or something, there's nothing wrong with that oil, keep going. Well, you know, everyone's entitled to opinion, but like I said, oil's cheap. It'll be the cheapest part on the bike. If anything ever goes wrong, that'll be the cheapest outlay you're going to have. After that, it's all downhill. Okay, we can pull this one out now, put the new one in, button it back up, and that part out of the way. I think I'll just put the old one in here. Now, when you look at the old one, like in the last 1,000 kilometres, see how dark it is? I might have a close look at that later on there, and there's a better look in the camera. That is really dark for 1,000 k's. What I might do a comparison between the old one I just pulled out and the new one I'm putting in. You can see what happened in 1,000 k's. So, we're on my own camera. There's our newie. And there's the old one. Swing over back in the slot here. Like so. Now what I like doing here when I'm putting them on would be just rotate and bring the bottom one down and pull her in a bit tighter. So in other words, don't tighten one up real tight and then the others, and then if you get to this stage, I've just hit the bedding there to it. That's a light one. Now, again, okay, they're all there nicely bedded equal, so then you can come back and just give it a little nip. That one there's come loose because that one there. Yeah, so like I said, I'm going on about a 50k or 60k run tomorrow of dirt, probably 100 all up. What I'll do, I'll check this tomorrow, and I'll also take the spanners with me and check underneath to make sure there's no leaks there. But now I'm up here, I can just give that little nip there like that, and so that'll be good enough. Yeah, nothing. So overall this is very clean in the motor. This is a 3 litre container, so I had a mark from the previous time I did it. So that gives you an idea. So guys, oil I'm going to use is Penrite HPR Gas 10. I've used that in nearly every C5 I've had over a period of 10 years, in the Interceptors, in the Himalayan. This one here too. It's been in about roughly 20 new bikes I've bought over that 10-year period, so if it's good enough for them, it is good enough for this bike. And I've got a snow cone cap here. I just cut the top off, and that's ready now to pour in. Okay, last part of the exercise, just unscrew the filler, put my cone in, like so. Pour the liquid gold in. And if you're still on the fence about the new Classic 350, I still think it's a pretty good bike at this stage with 1500 k's. So mine hasn't changed on that. Good ride. Okay, that's it. This is now ready to head off into the paddocks tomorrow. Been doing quite a lot of dirt road on this bike, so it's had a fair workout. A lot of the other ones I had have been show ponies, never seen any dirt at all, but this one here certainly knows its way around the paddock. Or should I say dirt road. When I do this Ride and Cook series, I'll be running on main roads, back roads, dirt roads, everything, so it's going to be an interesting run. Might kick it over now, see how it flies. Like always, first time every time. So once again, thanks for tuning in, taking a look. I'll pick up with you on the next clip.